Welcome to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. On this week's show, a surprising new poll out of Fairleigh Dickinson that shows the Me Too movement has had little effect on the number of women being sexually harassed in New Jersey. Also, why is Middletown, New Jersey, the safest municipality in the state with a population over 60,000? We'll talk to the mayor. And have you ever wanted to create your own wine and have your own label and everything? Now you can. We'll show you how. But first, my interview with John McCann, who is trying to unseat one-term Democratic Congressman Josh Gottheimer in North Jersey. As we do with all the candidates that we meet for the first time, I'd love you to tell the viewers and the voters a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name's John McCann, and I'm a resident of Oakland. I moved to New Jersey in 1988. I've been living in Bergen County that entire time. I'm an attorney. Quite an eclectic background. My original career when I was growing up, I was a musician and transitioned to the business world. Ran a company in New York City, and after leaving that company, I went back to school and basically did a Rodney Dangerfield. I went and got a bachelor's degree, a master's degree at UPenn, and my law degree. Got involved in politics strictly by accident. When I was getting my master's at UPenn, I was introduced to Senator Arlen Specter. At the time, healthcare was a big issue in the United States, and the Clinton
Still is.
Yeah, well, right. You know, and the Clinton healthcare plan was trying to be passed, and I was credited with playing a major role in helping defeat that plan. We believe that plan would have been bad for America. In fact, in our campaign right now, I'm the only Republican in the country that's running on a healthcare platform. You can check out my website at McCann2018.com. We have a healthcare plan, market-based approach for healthcare to reform healthcare for the country. It's personal. My wife is a physician, and my oldest daughter is a graduate student, is a medical student at medical school right now. So healthcare is a big factor for us and why we're running for Congress. And you know, I got to serve 9 years on a council, local government in Cresskill. There we had a lot of success putting Republican ideas. We built a rec center with a great team effort led by the mayor without any taxpayer money. And the rec center's there in Cresskill, New Jersey. Thousands of kids have enjoyed it. I still play basketball there occasionally. It was built, it's self-sustaining. It's all the funding that's provided for that rec center goes to maintaining it. It's basketball tournaments, volleyball tournaments. So when you do something like that on a local level, it really leaves you, gratifying to see all those kids running through there.
It's interesting that you and I'm going to just move on to some
Sure.
other questions. Is
Sure.
that okay? It's interesting you talk about something you did locally.
Yes.
Because this election doesn't seem to be a local election. This is a national election. It's been nationalized.
Right.
Is that frustrating for you in running in a national election where sometimes the candidates themselves don't even matter? It's whether they're a Republican or a Democrat.
Right. So and we've seen that in various cycles before. The last major cycle was actually 1994, where you saw the election nationalized. I wouldn't say it's frustrating. It's you're a Republican and you're a Democrat for a reason. On the local level, I got to participate and work with Democrats and Republicans in order to achieve things and move the ball forward and get things done. You have to be pragmatic in your decision making. But on the national issues, we have a serious problem in the United States right now, and we've just seen it playing out through the Kavanaugh hearings, where both sides are screaming at each other. And that's not to say I believe that both sides are equally at fault here. I believe the national rhetoric coming out of the extreme left of America has not been good for our country. You cannot encourage people to get in the faces of politicians. I mean, just it was a year and a half ago, Steve Scalise and the Republican baseball team was almost assassinated by a gunman. And you didn't see Representative Gottheimer come out against violence. I mean, sometimes what you don't say is as important as what you do say. But we're running for federal office, so the national issues are important. That's why
I want to back up to what you said a moment ago, because you opened up another issue that I didn't want to get into right now, but I'll get into it, and that is that you had, it made national news, there was a swastika on a home that was supporting Josh Gottheimer. It was on his signs and it was on the house. Right. You came out immediately and denounced it.
Correct.
You denounced it. But then you moved on to blame the Democrats for that.
Well, I don't think that was quite accurate, and I understand the reporting on that, but that is correct. We denounced it. And I'll tell you something else. It was personal for me. You know, I grew up in Boston, and I originally grew up in the north end of Boston. I'm commonly referred to as a Macaroni, okay? And moved to Winthrop, Massachusetts, where I had the honor, there were 2 synagogues at the end of my street, and grew up primarily in a Jewish neighborhood. And I had the honor of serving as a Shabbos Goy on Friday evenings at the Sabbath, answering phones, turning off the lights. So that attack was on Representative Gottheimer, I took personal, and so did my friends from my neighborhood, and I denounced it. What I was shocked at was you could denounce and then talk about other things that matter. For example, as I was talking about the toxic environment, if you're only going to speak out on certain issues and not others, then that causes polarization. So my comments flatly, clearly denounced it. It was personal for me. It was hurtful.
But you didn't blame those type of actions on the hate speech from the Democratic side?
What I blamed it on was the hate speech coming from both sides, and including Nancy Pelosi and including Maxine Waters. So the press it's on my website. The statement was pretty clear. In fact, we're the only campaign in the entire state of New Jersey that called for a federal election. You know, this happened to Mr. Gottheimer 2 years ago, just before the election, just like right now. And we've looked into where that investigation's gone. We can't find any answers to that. So in my mind, that requires federal intervention, because you can't have people being attacked for their religious beliefs, for their cultural beliefs, and certainly for their political beliefs. And that's the divide we're seeing right now being played out. So, you know, to assign blame, it's really, it was not reported by the Bergen Record accurately, and it was frustrating.
You think they unfairly treated you, the media, in this case?
Well, I know for a fact that we posted it on our Facebook page. We gave them a quote that they asked for, and they didn't publish it. And I gave the reporter an off-the-record comment in my statement for context, and they decided not to run not only with the on-the-record quote, but they completely ignored the on-the-record quote. And I'm not going to ever speak to the Bergen Record again. I didn't like what they did, and it's not fair to the Republican Party. It's not fair to my campaign, and it's not fair to Republicans and Democrats in Bergen County. If you have a media that has decided that we are going to put our fingers on the scale and tip it towards one candidate, how is that fair to the broader public?
And you're accusing the Bergen Record of doing that absolutely in this case?
Absolutely.
There's so much more I want to talk to you about. I'd like to bring you back for another segment, because I want to get into Josh Gottheimer, and let's talk about issues as well.
Love to.
When we continue our conversation with John McCann, candidate for Congress in the 5th Congressional District of New Jersey. That's when Jersey Matters comes right back.